I made $25,710.18 in literally 4 days at 20 years old. Just turned 20, can't use 19 anymore, so it doesn't even feel that impressive anymore. And to be honest, I'm not satisfied. I've done all this, and yet every single time I seem to hit another milestone, I strive for the next one. Like now, I want to hit 100K. In the beginning, all I wanted to hit was 10K a month, and I've passed 80K a month now, and none of this really has changed me at all. It really is just putting in the work. I'm not special. Okay, the only thing that I did was I transitioned and I took my time and I put it into something that actually matters. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down a pretty simple chart, but it's actually the exact process that I've used in order to scale from a university dropout that was, going for 2K a month, cheap client retainers, to charging 10K up front for a client. Okay, and I'm able to do 25K in just 4 days. I'll hit the refresh for you too, so you can see this is all legitimate. Let it load, and there you go. So you can see, if we go back here, all time I've done around 540K. I have a bunch of wires and stuff. We actually just had a huge client come through for 20K in a wire. So just because sometimes the larger deals, if we can do it, I'd rather process it through a wire rather than Stripe. Stripe would take like 2-3K for me, even for just a client that's coming through. So yeah, that's why we have a bunch of other stuff. So you'll have to believe me on that. I'm sorry. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. So the most important thing when starting out and when you're selling AI or you're starting any business, you need to find a specific market and target those people. Once you've become an expert in that market, you can begin to expand. But I'm telling you right now, with a certain niche, it's going to be 10 times easier and 100% possible to do $1 million a month with one niche. It's 100% possible. So if you think, oh, there's not enough roofers and there's not enough solar companies, there's not enough call centers, you're wrong. I'm sorry. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with one of these niches. Now, personally, I'm going to pick HVAC for this offer, mainly because that's what I target. That's who we go after. And personally, they have the greatest ROI in investment. And also, they're the easiest to sell to because even though they're tough, kind of gruel, like old school type of people, they're also logical. And that means, old school, which also means they're not tech savvy. There's a lot of benefits, okay? And they're straight to the point. These guys don't bullshit around. If they're booking a call with you and you're not able to close them, it's kind of your fault. These guys are straight to the point. They're not there to waste their time, okay, and shop around. Most of the time, these HVAC guys are straight to the point, okay? And if you're not able to close them, that's just sales. And I'll talk about how you can work on that too, okay, if you don't know how to sell. So we're going to pick our niche. Like I said, HVAC. You can also literally go to ChatGPT, okay, and say like, hey, I'm starting an AI company selling phone calling AI into businesses. What niche should I target? Home services first one. There you go, right? So yeah, you could do that too. Now, what is our offer going to be? Okay, so we're selling conversational AI, but it's not really enough. You're covering the appointment side. Okay, you're turning leads into appointments, and then eventually those appointments are turning into closes. But what if they don't have any leads to call in the first place? Why would they pay you $4,000? There's no reason. That's why we're going to cover the lead gen side. Okay, no matter if a business has leads or doesn't, they can always use new leads because they are the most fresh. They will, have a higher chance of picking up the phone. So even if we're calling old leads with the AI, if we can generate that business new leads, we could charge and leverage to charge 5 figures, $10,000 plus. Okay, and what we're going to try and do in this offer is we're going to cover all 3 pillars. We're going to cover the lead gen side, the appointment side, and then the sales in the system. Okay, so how exactly are we going to do this? Now, for the lead gen side, what we're going to do is we're going to run Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads. Okay, for the appointment side, we're going to use a conversational AI phone caller using Insight, Vapi, Sinful, one of those platforms. Okay. And for the sales and the system side, we are going to have a closer placement, talent placement, or a CRM setup integration. Okay, I'm going to break down a little bit more into each of these steps, but that's just a general outlook of what we're doing. So if you're taking notes, this is what the offer is going to be. This is what you're selling to these businesses and what you're pitching. Okay, now, Nick, that's great, but I've never run Facebook ads before. I wouldn't know where to start with running Facebook ads. I don't even know how Sinful or Vapi works. How do I even hire a closer? What is a closer? Okay. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more. All of that information, okay, if you don't have a general idea or you've never run a business before, it's going to take time to learn. And you can either do it by learning off YouTube videos, have a general idea, or, just how you're watching this video, or you can apply it in actual real life circumstances. So you could actually go out and learn Facebook with your client's money, with your client's ad budget. You could actually go out and build a Synflow, build a Vapi agent. You could actually go out and look and see how you can find and place in a closer. You can do that, but I also have some other alternatives here. Now, for the Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads, if you're starting from scratch, I would personally hire a white label agency for $500 a month to run the client's ads for you. Now, how are you going to do that? So there's a bunch of different ways. You can go online and you can find a white label marketing agency. So Ninja. So these guys are one white label marketing agency I know that you can use. They're like $200, $300 a month. And there's a bunch of others out there. I know there's like a Ninja one for $500 a month. And the cool thing about these guys and the digital white label marketing agencies is what you can do is you pay them $500 once, and then you can learn from them. You can learn from them. You can apply everything that you learned from them, teach it to a contractor, and pay an even cheaper price, right? A contractor from the Philippines or whatever. And now, not only have you learned the skills, you've had them fulfill for one of your clients, and now you've implemented, created the SOPs, and passed it on and brought on your own employee, but you're scaling your business. You learned a new skill, right? You've delegated. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. Now, how are we going to use the conversational AI phone caller? Okay, like how is that going to work? How are we going to fulfill for something we've never done before? Like I said, you can get started with Synflow. Okay, so you go to synflow.ai. You can literally get started for as little as it's like $37 a month or something. Yeah, $29 a month. Okay. So super, super, super cheap. You even have free trials for all of these, right? You just run a free trial. You could cycle emails and just learn it yourself. You combine that with YouTube, you learn that, and then you pass it down and you hire an Upwork, use Upwork to hire on a AI developer. And this AI developer is going to handle everything on the tech side, from questions to the build, to building out the script, to connecting everything and integrating whatever the agent needs in order to fulfill properly. Okay, and you're going to charge this guy $1,000. And then for closer and talent placement, you can use a talent agency, Facebook groups. You can do hiring ads. Hiring ads you learn from the white label agency. Or you could just go and use and implement Jobber, a CRM system. Okay, now how are you going to do all this, Nick? So all of this costs money, right? $500 a month, $1,000. I don't have that type of money. The thing is, you don't have to have this type of money. You don't have to put it out of your own pocket. Okay, what you're going to do is after you've signed the client, you're going to charge them $15,000 up front, $10,000 to $15,000 up front, or $5,000 to $10,000 up front, and then a monthly retainer. You're going to include 3 months of support. Then you're going to charge $1,000 a month retainer for continued use of your services. And then within all that, your client is going to cover any ads or software costs to keep things running. So all of this is profit from your business. So what you're doing is you're taking the money up front, you're using that money to fulfill for a client, just like any business would do. They charge money up front, and then they use that to pay employees, pay for supplies, pay for whatever, and then you pocket the rest. So how much are you pocketing? 12 G's. Now that's if you're signing 15 grand up front. To be honest, when you're starting off, you're not only not going to have the confidence, but you're not going to have the sales skills in order to properly handle and objections to where you can charge 15 grand up front. Don't get me wrong, it's possible, and I've seen people who have done it. But most of the time, I've seen people do it who have already run a business before or have already had sales experience. It's really, really unrealistic to go into business and expect to just sign a $15,000 client, no problem, with no proof of concept, no testimonials, no previous clients, without it being a total shit show. Okay, just because it's never been done before, it's hard to perfect something and charge super high ticket on something you've never done before. Now, all of this is super important to note that even though you're paying somebody else to do it, you're not always going to have a 100% success rate. And that's why usually I suggest when you're hiring a white label agency, or you're, bringing in a contractor to fulfill for the AI, or implementing the CRM system and setting up Jobber for them, or, implementing a closer, I usually say before you rely on somebody else, get a general idea of how you would do it on your own. The reason being, if you're going to hire and bring on an AI developer to fulfill using Jobber or Upwork or whatever, using Upwork, you can't expect them to have already used Synflow AI or whatever software that you're using magically. It's going to be pretty much impossible, virtually impossible, to find an AI developer who's had the experience of working using the exact software you've used. Which means, even though they're an AI developer, they're not an AI developer who's used Synflow before, which means they need to be trained on Synflow. Even though they have AI developing experience, they still need to be trained and they need to understand the system. So the best person, and at this point in your business, you will be the only person who knows anything. You need to train them. So before you're going to use these guys, like I said, put some time in. Don't, blindly research for months and months and months about how to perfect a build for, an AI agent, okay? You can leave that to the contractor, but at least give him a running start, get a base understanding of how he can go into it, and set up a simple training so that when he signed on, when you pay him the $1,000 to build for the client, the first build isn't going to be delayed too much. Okay, so you're left with $12,000. Now, Nick, this is all great and dandy. I know the offer now. I know how to fulfill for the offer. I know what to do in terms of delegation, okay, and how to actually, have actionable steps going forward today. But how do I sign clients for this offer? Okay, now there's two ways that you can go about it. The first way is paid ads. Okay, it's the best way. It is the number one method. That's all I use. There is a second way, and I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to break it down. But the second way is cold outreach. Now, I personally don't suggest it. If you can't afford to pay for ads in the beginning, you don't have a budget of a couple thousand to spend on ads, then unfortunately, you're just not ready to run a business, okay? If you want to be making 10, 15, 20K a month and you're not willing to invest $2,000 into your business for paid ads, then unfortunately, it's just business might not be for you. If you're not willing to take that risk, business is full of risks. You could spend the $2,000 and need to spend another $200 to see your first client. Right, there's a ton of variables, there's a ton of things. So if you're not able to afford that and you're wanting to expect a 20x return on investment, then unfortunately, this is your alternative. You'll have to do cold outreach until eventually you sign a client, which will ultimately push you back into layer progress by a long time. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the paid ads. Like I said, I personally don't suggest doing any sort of cold outreach, especially in the beginning, because you don't have proof of concept. You're literally a random person who reached out to this business owner and you're asking them for $15,000 up front. With paid ads, at least you have the leverage of them coming to you, them booking a call with you, right? They're reaching out to you for your help, right? Not the opposite. So how are we going to sign clients? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to run Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a ad which has a copy and a primary text. And in order to get that ad copy and primary text, we're going to use ChatGPT for prompting an instant generation of optimized headlines and primary text. So how are we going to do that? Okay. It's very simple. Hey, ChatGPT, can you create 4 good headlines for my ad targeting HVAC companies doing 15K a month? Targeting HVAC companies doing 15K a month for my conversational AI phone calling agents. There you go. And then you'd say, okay, do the same thing, but for the primary text. There you go. So you can see, and then when you're setting up Facebook ads, you'll actually be able to see, you'll be able to implement that. I have a lot of videos on my channel where I'm walking through the exact creative that we run on Facebook itself. So if you're wanting something more in depth, check out that video on my channel. Okay. Now, once you have your primary text and your headlines created, so the headline is the line that they'll see on the creative that is targeting them out. So the creative is just the video or the image that is, whatever it may be. And I'm going to talk about that right now. Then the headline is just what's calling them out. And then the primary text is if they click the see more button, and then they'll be able to view the text. Okay. Like the larger text. So what you're going to do once you have that prompted is you're going to send them into a creative that's either a Veed AI demo or a UGC or AI UGC demo. Okay. Now the Veed AI demo is going to be I'm going to show you right now. So here's the Veed AI demo. It's a straight to the point creative that is showing the lead exactly what it is that you're selling.
With pipe fixers, how can I help you?
Holy crap, Ashley, I need your help. It's literally 3 a.m. and I woke up to the sound of water dripping. I think one of my pipes are leaking.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Don't worry. We're going to get this under control together. Let's first shut off your main water.
So you can see this is a conversation between me and an AI, and it's basically just showing and previewing to a home service business owner what would happen if they were to, have the AI set up and answering their calls. Okay. Now, the reason why this creative works really well is because it has a blocking point. So it has a interruption with that ring in the beginning where it's attracting and it's hooking the lead's attention. And then it's retaining the lead with, hey, home service business owners never miss another phone call. They're like, what the fuck? Like, I never miss another phone call. Oh my gosh, I always miss phone calls. Like people calling me at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. What is this? And then it retains them because it's showing them what an actual conversation would be like with an AI and a client of theirs. This is a good ad. And personally, the cost per lead will be a little bit higher than the other alternative just because you'll have higher quality leads. Okay, this is going to retain retention. And if an actual home service business owner listens to this and they like it, there's a very, very low chance that if you have your funnel process set up in place properly, they will close. Okay, so you're going to pay a little bit more, but eventually you will have a higher percentage and a higher close rate on the bookings that come from this creative. Now, the other alternative is a UGC AI UGC ad. So UGC is a user-generated content. It's basically me speaking to the camera, just like this. It would be like home service businesses, blah, 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 right? So that's a UGC. Now, the cool thing about this is there's two ways you could do it. You could do UGC where you pay, you rent out a studio, you talk to the camera and whatever, or you could do AI UGC. So AI UGC is you could use a bunch of different platforms. There's a bunch of different options, one of which being Arcad. And they have these AI actors. And basically all you do is you plug in the script that you want the AI to follow. You select the actor that you want to use, and then it'll actually speak and it'll generate it for you. So it's pretty crazy. I'll play a quick example here for you. So as you can see here, you have the script that you put in place, and then you have the video, right? And then the AI actor.
Are you a home service business owner still wasting time chasing leads in 2025? In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you how my team and I are helping over 100 contractors, plumbers, HVAC techs, and roofers book more jobs without
So as you can see, it's pretty crazy because you could be sitting in your bed creating a video ad of you speaking, or a woman speaking to a HVAC contractor, and these guys are super tough, old school guys. If you put a good looking woman in the picture, it's going to attract their attention, right? So you can look at that, you can play, you can tweak depending on your niche. If you're targeting med spas, which is primarily women businesses, you could do a professional looking woman, or you could do a good looking guy, right? So it's just really cool because you could tweak, you could play with it. And obviously a normal user generated content video, you can't really affect that. You can't change that. You can't change how you look, or you'd have to pay somebody else, or get AI to do it for you. So that's what's pretty cool about the AI UGC. Now moving forward, once you've have the primary text and then the headline generated by ChatGPT, you're using an AI demo, or you're just talking to the camera yourself, or just a demo of the AI talking. You're going to send them to a funnel. Now for the funnel, super simple, right? For home service businesses doing more than 15K per month, fully automate your appointment booking, inspections, and lead follow-up with our AI voice agent infrastructure. Our average home service business adds 50% more bookings and inspections in 60 days of working with us. Simple type form, literally just qualifying, okay? Super simple AI demos, literally super simplistic, right? Now, after they fill out these questionnaires, right? Let's just say 500 leads for the job, 10,000 budget. Just asking general information so that we can use that against them in the call. And then also financial qualification, ensuring that they're actually doing over 15K a month. Pick a time below to speak to one of our strategists on exactly how we can fill your calendar with appointments, jobs, and inspections on autopilot with our voice AI infrastructure, right? Simple calendar time, right? Name, email, phone number, website URL, and then they agree or they don't agree. And I'll just put this in here and then after they book, they are sent to the thank you page. So congrats, your call has been booked. Complete these 3 steps now so you can be best prepared, and it can be a productive call with our strategist. Watch this 93-second video. This is a big priority. Just a super simplistic video thanking them for booking a call, telling them the next steps about how they have to confirm their call and click on yes. So it's showing that in both the video and here. And then our VSL. So ensuring that they are, this sales call does not need to turn into a question and answer call. We want to cover everything in terms of capabilities, the calls per minute, the cost, getting everything covered out of that so that the sales call can actually be a sales call, not a discovery or a question and answer. If the sales call turns into a Q&A and they haven't watched the VSL, the video sales letter, then this call is going to be brutal. There's no chance that on the same call that they discover new information, they're going to pay you 15 grand. It needs to be spread off. There needs to be a bunch of different touch points, okay, in order for the lead to trust you enough to pay. Now, once you've collected their info, you're going to send a text message 5 minutes after they opt in. 1 text message per day for the next 2 weeks, literally just continuing the follow-up. 5 minutes after the lead comes through, our AI, which we're selling and implementing for them, is going to call them, and it's going to follow up every single day with them. Every single day calling, hey, we saw that you opted in. Are you interested in booking a call? So as you can see, this is inside SynFlow. This is a flow agent that our agent does in order to call. Obviously, yours doesn't need to be this advanced, but start with a simple greeting. Hey, how's it going? Right? And then it'll move on. Hey, this is Ashley from Inside AI. You usually click on one of our Facebook ads, blah, 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 blah. Right? And based on whatever path they go to, it will try and book them in. It'll handle different objections. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. Then it's going to send them 1 email per day for the next month, nurturing, showing proof of concept, case studies, testimonials, whatever. And then we're going to reactivate them every month, remind them, hey, we're still here. We can still help you if you're interested in that. Right? Like I said, this is all connected to the landing page. So this is everything. I'm not gonna lie. This is the entire system, everything that I use. And like I said, if you want to go a little bit more depth into, a couple of other things, you could do that. I have lots of videos on this channel. And yeah, so everything in this video covered, every single step that you need. You have everything that you need to get started today. Now, I do understand that some of you, that maybe have a little bit more money to invest and want to see quicker results. You want some hand holding, a little bit of hand holding, maybe some support. Maybe you want to push further and scale and skip all the trial and error, and you believe in investing in yourself. I have an opportunity for you. Now, aside from running and selling AI to businesses, I also help people sell AI to other businesses. And if that's something that you're interested in, and like I said, you have money to invest, and you want to see results like this, you could do that. Then, like I said, I have an opportunity with you. You could partner with me directly, partner with me and my business partner, Jax, and we can help you scale. It does require an investment, so I do have to let you know. So yeah, there's going to be a link in the description below to book a call. But like I said, no stress. You could start today with this video. If you want to see results quicker, you can book a call with me and apply. I will let you know we don't accept just anybody. So when I work with somebody, I want them to go all in. I want to make sure that they're committed, that they're hardworking. So just so you know, the questionnaire, it may kick you out. It may send you to a different spot if you don't qualify to work with us. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.